Podcast on episode 227. March Madness weekend 1 just wrapped up. We got the Sweet 16 coming up next weekend. We'll give you our thoughts on this past weekend, some of the upsets, some of the big games, and some might preview a couple of these upcoming matchups for the second weekend here. Plus, we have some NFL news. Someone is the new highest paid player at their position. We'll talk about that contract and sprinkle in a little bit more NFL news there. So, all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Before we hop into some March Madness. As far as NFL news go, we already talked about it in the opener. Someone's been named the highest paid player at the position, and we're going back to the receivers who are making another leapfrog of the highest paid player. JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, signs a new extension with the Seattle Seahawks out there. They picked up his 5th-year option, I think, over the weekend. Then they get this deal done and announced. This is Monday we're recording, so it was announced earlier this morning. We're looking at 4 years, $168.6 million. I think if you do the APY, I think it's like 42.15 million per year average. So this man's getting the big bucks. After letting DK go and Lockett go, he stepped up and definitely deserved not only Offensive Player of the Year, but this big ass contract, if we're being honest here. Leapfrog Chase. Chase is now second, and then I think in third place might be CD or Jefferson, one of the two. So we're getting 2 receivers in the 40s, and we still got one more guy who needs to get paid, Puka Nacua. He still is up for extension as well, but we'll focus on JSN first. Lawrence, how are you feeling about this extension? Well deserved here for JSN.
I mean, it's well deserved. It kind of resets markets. I mean, you're going to be thinking about it. Every other position's going up. Salary cap went up. And then in the next few years, JSN has now allowed other guys to go get their bags because now everyone has to match him. That's just the way the world be. He just won the Super Bowl, so he kind of can get whatever contract he wants because he was their go-to guy the entirety of the way, pretty much. Outside of the main game, because the main game, he kind of blew a leg there. Wasn't the highest performer, but you gotta pay a guy for his time, and his time isn't put in right.
Hey, I agree with that. Jacob, what are your first thoughts on Puka's new big deal?
JSN, man, he was one of my favorite players just to watch this year. I think he was not really a household name. A lot of guys in Seattle, like you said, you lose DK and Lockett, both have been there for a long time. They traded away DK, who had only had 1,000-yard seasons, and they knew exactly what they were doing. It was also one of those weird things where they brought in a new quarterback and then immediately traded one of his weapons when they signed Darnold, and then traded Metcalf to the Steelers. But just one of those Ohio State receivers, man. The factory of Ohio State's wide receiver room just keeps continuing. Dude had 1,800 yards and 10 touchdowns, and I think the most crazy thing that I heard today was on Get Up, and someone said that the Seattle Seahawks had the least amount of pass attempts of any team this year. They were 32nd in terms of pass attempts, and Jackson Smith-Njigba still led the league in receiving yards. So that's wicked impressive. He's a really fun player. He plays outside. He plays in the slot. He kind of reminds me of like a faster Amon-Ra St. Brown, just one of those dudes that when you're playing them, you're like, why is he always open? Like, can someone guard this guy? Like, the other team should know this guy's, he's important, so we should cover him. But super good at getting open. And like Lawrence said, they just won the Super Bowl, and he was a big part of, the run getting them there. So, yeah, I think this deal is going to be a bargain in a year or two when Puka signs and when other guys come back up, because when the market changes like this, that's when guys get greedy and say, you know what, like I want a pay raise. Like Chase probably wants to be the highest paid guy still, and CD's going to want a new deal, and Pickens, if he has another good year, is going to want major money. So I think this deal actually might end up being a bargain for the Steelers or for the Seahawks. But all that being said, $120 million guaranteed in this deal. So as much as I love Jackson Smith-Njigba, we cannot shy away from the fact that this is a mammoth extension, massive deal, and happy for him. Like everybody's been saying, he deserves it. So pretty cool.
Yeah, well deserved. And like you said, it might be another guy who's going to reset the market here pretty soon. Puka, he's up for extension with the Rams. The Rams, they do have Devontae Adams, but he's getting up there in age. Stafford, he says he's coming back next year. When do we see Puka's extension get signed? And do we think it'll be in the 40s, or do the Rams try to cheap out? Like, what are we thinking here?
45.
45 million per year.
Just because of the catches, I kind of agree. I don't know though, because I don't know. Puka kind of is on the same level as JSN. Like the spectacular catch ability, and let's just face it, it was on pace at one point. He was catching 12 balls, 15 balls, 12 balls per game before he got injured. I think the injury card might be something to be able to be played, but I think the bigger thing is they've been paying Puka pretty much nothing this whole time.
Exactly.
Man
Yep,
is gonna get something huge. He's been paid nothing this whole time.
His contract was $4 million. He makes just over $1 million every year. So his career earnings are just under $4 million. So that boy's he's gonna times that by like 400%, hopefully.
Yeah, I definitely can see it. I think Puka has had a lot of consistency throughout. Ever since he was a rookie. He's been balling. So yeah, I definitely could see 45. We might damn near be close to 50. Maybe next year with I guess Pickens has another baller year. He's the next guy up after this. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this for sure. Other NFL news, not too much else going on. Carson Wentz re-signing with the Vikings. Patriots released Josh Dobbs. A couple of small moves like that. Nothing really too much to cover on those, but figure we let you guys know. But moving on, we got March Madness. Weekend 1 is over. First, of course, the round of 64, round of 32. All those games wrapped up. I think games tip off again, I think on Friday, right? So, what are our first thoughts on the first two rounds? I'll kick it off to you, Lawrence. Are you surprised with the results? Are you surprised at any of the upsets? What are your initial thoughts?
Good program in High Point. I think the Arkansas coach taking the time to recognize that was big. Yeah, he literally said it takes players and it takes environments to cause runs, and if they hadn't hit the jugger that was Arkansas right there, they probably could have taken down a lot of 4 ranked teams. So I think I would say probably the biggest win. I would say of the whole weekend was probably the Iowa upsetting Florida. The
Definitely.
contrast of styles, Iowa playing a very slow, drag it out pace. Florida likes to be up and down the court really fast. The size difference, Florida did have size advantage on Iowa. Iowa had the counter to that in being more speedy, and pretty much came down to who was more physical. But yeah, 9 upsetting the first one getting upset in the tournament, which, mind you, I don't know how Duke was so slept on, because they had, I think it said Michigan, Arizona, and Florida were all picked more than Duke as the number ones. And I don't know, man. Duke's looking pretty nice outside of that Siena. They literally look like they didn't get jump started until about half. It's like Siena had a whole 10 minutes to get going before they decided to play. I would say Iowa State absolutely humbling Kentucky second half and making them look like a mid-major of themselves. That was pretty impressive. And yeah, I wish some more double seeds could win. Texas has made their run. I don't know how much more they can really make a noise with, but it was nice to see VCU make that comeback against North Carolina. But it was kind of hard to watch VCU lose their All-American rookie or freshman first team A10 player in the first, I want to say 20 seconds. He did not come back.
Hate to see it. Jacob, first thoughts on March Madness Weekend 1?
Yeah, I'll piggyback. You guys know I hate VCU, but shout out to the A10. St. Louis also got a win in the first round, so pretty cool that the A10 got 2 wins. Obviously, they both got humbled. St. Louis got beat pretty bad by Michigan, who looks like a wagon, and VCU got trumbled by Illinois. But yeah, shout out to Iowa, man! What a crazy game that was. The St. John's buzzer beater against Kansas. Kansas came all the way back just to get their hearts broken. Duke. My cousin goes to Siena up in New York. That's like 2,500, and 2,500 people go to that school, and they were beating Duke by like 15 at one point. So they're real slept on. All right, they're gonna get beat at some point. I think this Duke team is so flawed. If you can stop the Boozer boys, they're really not that good. The Sar kid can play. I think that's probably the worst one seed left. Arizona looks like a wagon. I saw the funniest tweet of the weekend was the first game, Arizona versus Long Island, was the battle for tea naming rights. I don't really drink tea, but I thought that was really funny. Um, I think kind of like what going off what Lawrence is saying, not a lot of huge upsets. The Iowa one, Texas beating Gonzaga was pretty a big deal too. High Point beating Wisconsin, like it's not one of those years where you got a bunch of 12, 13s and 14s, winning and stealing the show from some of these big schools. And people think the NIL is a result, and that might be true. Obviously, we're going to need a little bit more data and more years to kind of see if Cinderella is actually in fact dead. But keep an eye on Arizona. Keep an eye on Arizona, Arkansas. That's going to be a really fun game. And the game I'm looking forward to most, other than that one, Illinois and Houston. Houston was, in my opinion, good enough to be a number 1 seed. Illinois looked really, really good, and they're playing really, really well right now. So those are 2 really good teams. Shout out to Virginia. They, did their job in the first round and then lost yesterday. So unfortunately, the Cavs season's over as well. Shout out to Tennessee. They played really well. Refs didn't help, but it's been a fun game, a fun March Madness so far, aside from maybe not the huge upsets. I thought the round of 32 was really, really good. A lot of the 4-5 matchups and 3-6s were really fun. So it's been a good March Madness so far. But I personally think it's probably going to be a number 1 or number 2 seed taking it home this year.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I didn't watch much of any of the first weekend, guys. I for the reason Paramount Plus wasn't working for me, I couldn't watch any of at least the games on CBS. So I really didn't catch anything but highlights. But yeah, it might be Cinderella might be dead. Definitely with some of these mid majors not having big NIL programs. You kind of have to be picky and choosy with who you want to give money to if you even have a budget to give money to. So I don't know. Like Jacob said, we have to see more of how this plays out long term. Some more data, of course. But Lawrence, do you have any previews for this upcoming weekend Sweet 16 Elite 8?
Well, the fact that Illinois and Houston, who probably are playing, I would say, some of the best ball in the tournament, have to now collide. Because, oh man, like if you could flip flop those two, I would love to see some other carnage happen. But it feels really rough to have those two guys go at it. And really, I think winner of that could make noises. Iowa, Nebraska, honestly, slept on, but this comparatively of what they could be facing is like pretty much a game off for them. I'm not saying that in like a different perspective, but I mean it's a 9 versus 4. Nebraska's like, oh man, I could have been playing Florida. We're playing Iowa. These two went back and forth during the season. They're 1-1 against each other. Both teams won at home, so they know each other familiarly. Iowa's on the whole other side thinking the same way. Man, we could have been playing Vanderbilt. They were hot. They went all the way to the end in the SEC championship game. Now we get to play Nebraska. It's not like we're shitting on Nebraska that they're bad or anything, but we know who they are. We played them twice. So both of these teams are really thinking about that and probably sighing in relief right there. I would like to see what Alabama can do without their weed man versus Michigan. Um, I think they can keep. I mean, honestly, we will watch them beat the hell out of Texas Tech. So points are not the problem. It's going to be stops. I think that's going
Yep.
to be the main issue. Um, and then I don't know. I would like to see Arizona make a deep run because they said no team past the Mississippi in like forever many years has not won. I would like to see some noise in that department. But UConn is also, I would say, a fragile. Watching them the other night, I think someone could take this UConn team. UCLA, I mean, outside, if that coach hadn't gotten that stupid technical, which I don't even know what he really did, but if he hadn't gotten that stupid technical, I don't think that UCLA team would have spiraled into such patheticness as it did in the last 5 minutes. So then you would have had a tougher game. I think this UConn team can be beaten, but I don't know that UCLA team. They just got off real easy sorry, UConn got off real easy because the UCLA team had some fire going, and then the coaches
Hmm.
had to get some stupid technical. Obviously, talking trash.
Hate to see that. Hate to see that. Yeah.
I do like that game, the Michigan State UConn game, because Michigan State is also a really, really good team. So like, I think winner of that game probably takes the conference, especially if Duke gets beat by St. John's.
Yeah, I think if any game I had to pick to watch this weekend, definitely Duke St. John's. Like you said, Jacob, beside the Boozers, Twins, outside of that, they're not really much of a team. They had #1 recruiting class, but as far as fits go, if Cam and his brother aren't playing up to snuff, then yeah, they can be had. And St. John is coached really well by Patino, so I think that'd be a great game. And then Arizona, Arkansas. Hey, Big Perk, we make fun of Big Perk a lot, but when he came out 2 months ago just about and said Darius A. Cup Jr. is the best player in college basketball, hey, I kind of believe him, man. This kid is balling. He legit, other than AJ, he might be the #1 pick because this kid can ball. I mean, he's spectacular.
That boy bad. That boy
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, and we know, Coach Cal's reputation with guards, and this kid, he might be the best out of all the guards that he's coaching. He's coached, Derrick Rose, John Wall, SGA. I mean, this kid he's insane. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on some of these top 5 picks in their play so far. I know AJ got sent home first round, but some of these other guys are still playing. Any
He
thoughts?
looked damn good and getting sent home. It wasn't his fault they lost, man. I was watching a little bit of that game, and he was willing BYU, and he's a problem. He's going to be so good. The fascinating one to me and to a lot of people is Peterson. Like, he had a really rough game, and Kansas got sent packing, and I think that this tournament's really going to hurt his stock just because nobody really knows what to expect of him at the next level.
Yeah, but my problem with the Peterson one, right? Like, I feel like that's a cheap shot because in his current predicament, he has to shoot the 3-pointer because in the tournament, the rest of his team went 1 for 13 for shooting the 3. So they can't shoot the 3. So to keep them in games, he has to fork it up at the 3-point line. And I think he went 7 for 17. So obviously the man made some threes, but some of those threes are not going to be as open as other threes that he's taken because if I know that this is my only other guy on this team that can they can scare me from the 3-point line, double team him. Run him off, run him off, run him off. Like, that's just what they're going to do. So then he has to take shitty 3-point shots to keep him in these games, and he made a heck of a one.
Yeah, I was actually watching. I think it was Jay Will this morning on First Take. He was saying kind of same thing you're saying, Lawrence. Like maybe Peterson's not in the right system in Kansas, and having to kind of play out of his preferred style is probably hurting his stock and hurting how he looks on some of these games. But I think he's still definitely a top 5 pick, a consensus #1 now. I don't think you can have him in that conversation anymore. I think it's probably team preference at this point, but any combination of Boozer, AJ, or A Cup is, I think, we're gonna look after #1. But
I think the only problem with him it could be a system thing, but I feel like it also could be like an attitude thing. Like, he did get benched at some point this season. Now, mind you, if he's going to one of these bottom 5 teams, he probably has to immediately get on the team and make an impact. And is this the guy I need to bring on my team immediately and make impact? kind of I want to say a snotty-nosed little kid, but who do you think a bunch of pros who've been in the league for 10 years are going to look at him as?
I think if he falls to the Mavs, who are kind of in that retool period, but they still have vets like Gafford, they still got Kyrie, I feel like that'd be a perfect situation for him.
He'd play well with Flag too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be a top, like you said, Markel, he's going to be a top 5 pick. But I think that, especially in today's NBA with the load management and guys just taking off games and how much time he missed this season, like, there's just so many question marks before he even gets to the draft, let alone the league. We don't know if his body couldn't sustain a 30-game college season. Like, how is he going to play 82 games next year?
Games.
So
yep.
it's tricky. Like Cam Boozer is the exact opposite. Like I watch Cam Boozer and it's insane that he's 18 years old because that's a grown freaking man. Like that is a grown man playing. Same with AJ. Like these are grown men at age 18. And I'm not saying Peterson's not. I'm just saying that like there's no questions about like Cam Boozer's durability, and same with AJ. Whereas like Peterson hasn't even touched the NBA yet, and it's like I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain a 10-year career. And if he's not going to be able to sustain a 10-year career, are you really taking him first overall, second overall? Like it's going to be up there, but whoever takes him, it's going to be a huge risk.
Yeah, for sure. Some of these guys are still playing. Some of these other guys like Acuff, Boozer, they still got a couple more games left, hopefully. So some more time for these scouts and player evaluators to get some more information on these guys. And NBA draft is in June, so we have plenty of time to discuss draft. But I just want to get an early look at that. Anything else before we head on out? As far as other news, NBA is still going on. We got playoffs kicking off in a couple of weeks here. Lakers, pretty sure they're like on the highest win streak right now in the league. I think 8 or 9 games, right? Wizards, I think they're like 13, 14 games in a row they lost.
16.
16? I was a couple games off.
Tied with the Pacers. Pacers have also lost 16. It's like, dude, if the Pacers just win one game, we would be the worst team in the league. But we're like, let's go lose 16 in a row. And the Pacers are like, all right, we'll match it. Like, this tanking stuff is getting hilarious.
So we got some...
Weren't they investigating the Brooklyn Nets for the other night of deliberately losing the game?
I feel like it's a new team every week that they're
probably
investigating for a tank. And I know, didn't they want to send the NBA doctors to the Jazz because they were listing people out and they didn't think they were actually hurt? So NBA's in, I would say a pretty weird spot, especially with expansion being voted on, I think, very soon, right? So I think the consensus is that it's going to get voted yes, and then the two potential team sites are going to be Vegas and Seattle. Any thoughts initially on NBA expansion?
Did you see which team would have to go to the East Conference?
Yeah, it's probably going to be Grizzlies,
Minnesota,
and Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota and Grizzlies. I don't know. That's kind of ugly. I could see Memphis, but Minnesota just feels like a Western team.
Well, they said it's because Minnesota's closest opponent in the West is Denver, and it's like 800 miles away. Yeah. But like Chicago, Milwaukee, Indiana Detroit is all like really close to them. Detroit, yeah. So it was like it makes more like legitimate sense for Minnesota because like even like the Pelicans, New Orleans is close to OKC, it's close to Memphis, it's close to all the Texas teams, it's close to Phoenix. Yeah. I was just shocked. I read that and I was like, I would have never guessed that, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's going to be in the East.
Hey, I'm all for it. Expansion. I think 32 teams would greatly expand. Expand the talent pool. Because right now you got guys who are coming off the bench and they are, pretty damn good. But you only can start 5 guys. So you get another team in there. That's another 10 starters right there. And then hopefully if it works well, maybe they'll add another 2. Who knows? But yeah, I'm interested to see how this expansion draft is going to go. I think each team can, under the current rules, can keep 7 or 8 players. I think.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of gymnastics they're going to have to do because you can keep 8 players, but you can't keep the players that are on expiring contracts. So it's a whole system they already got. So I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. I think they'll vote yes, and then in 2 years, 2028, they'll have this expansion draft and have these teams up and running.
Excited for the Seattle. Excited for the Supersonics. They deserve it.
Yep. I think OKC already said that they'll give them back the records.
Yep. Cool with that.
Any thoughts, Lawrence?
I think the Vegas team ultimately will probably be moving over time. I just don't see like an NBA arena being what is it, 82 games, so that's 41 games. They have to be at least half sold. I don't know. People aren't going to Vegas to watch NBA games. It's like it's different when it's NFL and it's in like a brand new, like beautiful stadium. Like they're going to the Vegas because it's like this is the end all be all of like NFL stadiums. Like, come on, it's like top of the line. And they're only hosting 8 to 9 games per year, right? Whatever number it is in between that. So it's not like an incredible market has to be met. I mean, that's not that hard to sell out. And it's during a colder time for most of the climate. So then going out to a warmer, Vegas climate to go see a football game and to gamble, probably not the worst thing for most people. Anywho, digressing. I would rather have seen it, you know, on the Eastern Seaboard and like actually split up, the teams evenly, like out of East team, out of West team. Boom. Move one over, restructure it. Memphis, all right, you got to come over here. You're the closest one to the East. All right, this is what it is. Don't pay enough attention to the NBA anyways.
It would be nice if they added one East Coast team. Where that would be, I don't know, but hey, maybe these locations aren't set in stone, so maybe another location will end up hitting their name in the hat. We shall see with that. But anything else, guys, before we head on out?
I mean, I would push back a little on the Vegas talk just because the Golden Knights went there first, and another popular misunderstanding is that like people do live in Vegas and are like from Vegas. Like Bryce Harper's from Vegas, and one of his favorite quotes was like, someone asked him like what it was like growing up in Vegas, and he was like, I didn't grow up in a casino. I grew up in a house with like a yard and stuff. So like people in Vegas love sports, and like the Vegas Golden Knights came there. They're super popular. They won a cup. The Raiders moved there, super popular. The Oakland Athletics, now the Sacramento Athletics, are going to be the Vegas Athletics. So like I think sports in Vegas is working really well, and I think a basketball team would work there. I don't think that just because it's Vegas means that they don't like sports. Personally,
you got the Las Vegas Aces. They won
Aces too.
Yeah, they won chip after chip. Asia Wilson, best WNBA player. I mean, hey, they definitely have enough of a market to sustain at least some of these programs.
Yeah.
Any other topics we got to cover before we head out?
There's a UFC fight this weekend that's pretty good.
We got the Style Bender versus who again?
Pfeiffer.
Joe Pfeiffer. No mercy.
He's up and comer, but we don't know about Adesanya still. He's still on everyone's shit list right now because he kind of keeps getting knocked out.
He developed a chin.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten a chin.
Body bags.
Has Macy? How long has it been since Macy's Barbers? Was she in that canceled fight?
Yeah, with Aaron Blanchfield.
Yeah, there it is.
She passed out like 20 minutes before the fight, and then pulled out. But she fought somebody after that and won. So like that fight with Grasso is pretty interesting because the winner could potentially get a title shot.
Who's the one that just fought recently on UFC, and then he said he wants to fight in the next month or so? Oh man, you gotta know who I was talking about. Oh man, he just did what was it last card before that? He said he wants to fight in a month. Anyway.
Yeah.
If I look through the old fights, I could find it pretty quick, but I don't know. Isn't this Hooper kid too the one who's always gooning? That was who's funny for, is known for, the gooning?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Cooper, Hooper, whatever his name is.
Chase Hooper. Yeah. He's a Good Squad guy. Yeah, he's on the prelims, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Right
thought
here.
it says here on the score he's in the main card.
Oh,
Ooh, maybe.
on the
Maybe.
website, it's on the prelims, but who knows?
Yeah, it has him on the all the way up as third main event.
Where does it have
Mm.
Chiesa on there?
Chiesa.
UFC got to update their website. What they doing?
Where is Chiesa?
Because this is his retirement foul. He's from Seattle, so like this is his send off, which is cool. Shout out to Mike Chiesa. He does the UFC desk, like the pre shows and stuff too. Cool ass dude. Finally retiring. He's got more gray hairs than he does other
Oh,
hairs.
they just had him as the prelims fourth fight.
See, like Chiesa's definitely on the main card, so maybe the score is messing up. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they could be. Because it has McKinney and Nelson in the main card too. I don't think that was in the main card for you guys, but
That's
I
the
don't know.
opener. McKinney and Nelson.
Yeah, so they're all out of order. But I don't know. I think it's a good fight because Pfeiffer he's been cruising through the division. I think he's like the only scary, well, up and coming scary one as of late from the Americans side point of view. So
Yeah, and it's a big jump because if he goes in there and he knocks out Israel Adesanya, not only is that a former champion, he's also number 4 ranked. So like he would go from 14 to 4 just like that, and he'd be right in the mix. If he beats Izzy, he's probably one fight away. If he beats Izzy, give him number 5, number 4. Let him fight Fluffy Hernandez, or let him fight Duplessis or somebody like that, and then boom, he's in a title shot. Cool dude. He was the one of the original Dana White Contender Series guys. He got a knockout, and then he like got on the mic and was just like, "I'm actually homeless. I'm poor. My life sucks, but I love fighting, and I'll do anything." And then Dana White like helped him get a crib, gave him a bonus, and then like ever since he stepped in the UFC, he's been a killer. So yeah, this is a big step up, but also like this is one of those new up and comers versus an old legend. Izzy wasn't my favorite fighter, but definitely a legend on the sport. So this should be a fun one.
yeah,
Should
because
be
if that
fun.
chin that Izzy has, that we think he has, is still there, he's probably gonna find it.
Yeah, probably. Also, shout out to baseball. Baseball opening week.
Wednesday?
Opening day is Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, Netflix has the Yankees and the Giants, and then Thursday, I think all the other teams have their first game. So baseball's back.
Baseball is back. We'll be able to cover some baseball now that Jacob's on the program. So look forward to that. Other than that, guys, we're gonna head on out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening on Spotify, all that good stuff, and we will see you later this week. Peace.